Hello again everyone, welcome back to another video on this wonderful platform we call the internet. Today I thought it was best to discuss the recent hassle going on about The Last of Us remake coming out for PlayStation 5 and PC before it dies down. Not for views or attention really, but just because it's something to talk about. I figured being current news would make a good first commentary video on my channel. So, many people by now are familiar with the news that Naughty Dog is developing a remake of the first Last of Us game. Some people like it, some people don't, and some Sony and PlayStation fanboys are shilling and defending it. Personally, though, I think The Last of Us is kind of overrated. People saying it's the best PlayStation exclusive ever made, and the best game ever made. Now, I have no doubt it's a brilliant game with interesting, well-written characters, setting, gameplay, and story, but I don't think it's the best game ever made. I think it's kind of overrated, but I bought it on PS4, so I'm going to give it a try anyway, because why not? So anyway, Naughty Dog is making this so-called remake and is selling it at the full price of a standard game, which is now $70 in America and some other countries, I think, which is about $110 to $120 here in Australia, which is where I'm from. Actually, yes, on the EB Games website, it's actually $125. For those who don't know, EB Games is the GameStop of Australia and New Zealand. Anyway, the problem many people have with the $70 and $125 price tag is that most, if not all remakes and remasters, which usually have expanded content and new gameplay engines and whatnot, are usually sold at cheaper prices like $50 or $60 less, which is around $70 or $80 here in Australia, I think. As for Last of Us Part 1, from what I've heard, all they did was enhance resolution, textures, and animations a bit, accessibility features for people with disabilities, move the multiplayer, and relabel it as a remake for more than the original 2013 release and 2014 remaster. So you're pretty much getting less for more. By that I mean you're paying money, $70, $100, and $125 for a game that has some, if not most, content removed, including multiplayer, which some people are saying that they're going to release later and charge for that too, or my little say they might release as a free update, but if that's the case, it should have been left in there anyway, if they were just released as a free update, so chances are just going to release it and charge people for that too, which is bullshit. So you'll be paying $70 and $125 for a game that is slightly different to the PS4 remaster from 2014, has accessibility features, DualSense features, and no multiplayer. In their 10-minute trailer discussing new features and changes to the remake, they touted tweet animations like it's some big new feature. I mean, it's nice and all, but there's like a small change that should have been brought up and mentioned for like a few seconds, and that's it. And the whole idea of remaking a game or movie is that it's done to a game or movie that is like decades old, such as Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Mafia Definitive Edition, Tomb Raider Anniversary, Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4, and Final Fantasy 7. Like, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 and Gran Turismo 1, just to name a couple, and other games that are like 10 plus years old, are more deserving of a remake right now than The Last of Us. I mean, they could do it like another 10 years' time, which is when they should have done it, because at least that's a decent time to wait to then remake it. But to be honest, I'm kind of tempted to buy it anyway, but at the same time I can just play the PlayStation 4 remaster on my PlayStation 5 and have that better frame rate and graphics that PS5 offers to most PS4 games for its backwards compatibility. And most of you should do the same. It's not really going to ruin sales on Sony's part, because most, if not all, PlayStation exclusives still like crazy anyway. And The Last of Us remake might not be an exception, but some of us just want to save our money and stuff an older version that has more content and slightly less visually impressive graphics, because as I mentioned before, the graphics are only slightly enhanced. A remaster of a remaster, as some of us have said. As for those who want to get the remake, go for it. If you want it, you want it. It's not my money, not my problem, I can't stop you. As for me and many others, we'll stick to the PS4 remaster, though I might get it myself, who knows. So, yeah. Well, that's it for the video now. Until then, feel free to subscribe if you want to and stay tuned for more videos.